Hi guys, it's Christine. Welcome back to the channel. This week I want to talk about Half His Age by Jennette McCurdy. I read her memoir, which was I'm Glad My Mom Died, which I loved. It was one of the very best, especially celebrity memoirs I've ever read. Like, it was just so scathing. It's really, really good, so you should check this one out. So when she wrote her first fictional novel, I thought, well, I definitely want to check that out. I was going to wait till it's on paperback, and I just couldn't do it. I had to go grab it right away in hardcover, and I'm glad I did. It's very, very good. It tells the story of Waldo, who is a teenage girl living in Alaska, who becomes obsessed with her creative writing teacher, Mr. Corgi, and she pursues him and they begin a relationship. I think the obvious comparison to Lolita is valid, but I think it's sort of interesting that it is a mirror of Lolita. Like, so in Lolita, you've got the narrator is Humphrey, and he is he's an unreliable narrator. The whole book, he's trying to convince you why she's so mature, and he's trying to convince you that he's not a pervert, which he 100% is. She's a child. So the interesting comparison that you can make there is that in Half His Age, the story is told from her perspective instead of his, and she is as unreliable as he is because she is still a child. I mean, she's 17, I think, in the novel, and she pursues her teacher relentlessly until he gives in, but he is still the adult. He is still the one who should be controlling the situation and saying no, and he doesn't. And it's a really interesting look at power dynamics and the abuse of power. It's also an interesting look at neglect and loneliness, because Waldo's mom is absent a lot of the time. She's always off with some boyfriend or whatever, and she leaves her daughter notes, which Waldo keeps in like a jewelry box, because that is sort of her only tangible evidence of love and attention from her mom that she gets. So there's that, and then that plays into her loneliness, which she tries to fill with shopping and, meaningless hookups with guys in her grade. But then when she sees this new teacher, she quickly sort of projects this idea of maturity onto him, and she thinks that she can control the relationship. There's a lot of control at play here as well, like what he has over her and what she thinks she has. And it takes a long time for her to realize that there is some control that she has, but it's not what she thinks it is. I don't know if I'm making sense, but anyway. The novel is very icky. And I don't mean that as a criticism. It should be. Like, there are a number of sex scenes. They are very, very graphic. I think it's important for the book to be so gross and unflinching and icky in its storytelling, because the character, like Waldo, I think knows on some level how wrong what's going on is. I think she knows it, and she just thought it would be something, and it's not what she thought it would be, and she doesn't know how to backtrack, but she also doesn't want to go back to being lonely again and just, immature boys who don't treat her as the person that they should. But then when, as she is in this relationship with her teacher, he's not doing that either, because he is desperate to, when he does finally give in to the idea of them being together, he is constantly talking about all these books that he wants to recommend for her and movies that he wants to recommend. he never once asks her anything about herself. None of the characters ever really show her any true interest, and not in the way that she wants them to. And it's really heartbreaking. And I thought the writing was really sharp and really darkly funny and also heartbreaking. There's a scene involving a closet, and like on the one hand, like it's incredibly dark and almost funny, but it's also so terrible, like what is happening. And this position that she's in is just so awful, and my heart breaks for her in that scene, like even though it is kind of funny, but also it's really not. Like I don't want to give too much away about like the plot details, but if you read it, you will know the scene that I mean. It you probably won't stop thinking about it after you've read it. Every assertion that she has that she's mature just sort of serves to show us that she is still a child. She thinks she's a grown-up. She's very much not. She equates sex with maturity, which is not the case. And vice versa, the story doesn't shy away from older people just constantly letting younger people down and never asking them about themselves. Like, yeah, he wants to give her all these movies that he loves, and oh, you should check out this, and you should go to college, and you should do this. Telling her what he thinks she should do with her life, never once asking who she really is. And it's so insightful and like really well written, really. And I gotta say, it's a great book for getting out of a reading slump if you're in one, because the chapters in it are very short, which makes it a very easy read. Like it's very easy to just say, oh, a little bit more, and you'll breeze through it very quickly, like I did. Waldo is not always the most likable character either, which I think is important. I think it's good that we don't see her like as a victim here. She is, because as I said, like he is the adult. He is the one. The onus is on him to stop it happening, which he doesn't do because it makes him feel good. You know, it strokes his ego to have this girl seeing him as something more than he is, because she doesn't have the maturity yet to see his flaws and see, you know, here's a man who is willing to leave his family for a teenager. Like that's yuck. So yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was a very, very sharp, witty, really brilliant book. I will say I did find it distracting that the character's name was Waldo. I don't know why you would name your character that, and every time I read it I was like, what? But you know, okay, if that's the only flaw, then that's quite all right with me. I do really like the cover. It is kind of gross in a way. It's that icky part of the book, like I was saying before. It's, you know, it's sort of uncomfortable to look at, and because you know that she's a child and he's an adult. And I think that's very much by design. So I actually like this cover. I know a lot of people have a problem with it, but I would say it fits in with that gross ickiness of the book. That's not a criticism of it. That is very much what it should be given the subject material. So I think the cover really reflects that in the story really well. I think it's a really good look at the sort of the dangers of desire and loneliness, and what we do to fill that loneliness, and the things that we choose not to see. Yeah, I really, really liked it. So yeah, Half His Age by Jennette McCurdy. I would definitely go pick it up. It's a really good read. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.